Jeymes Samuel, the director, is back with a biblical epic, The Book of Clarence, starring LaKeith Stanfield. And my one question for this film is this. What's going to be more controversial, this film or this moment from church?
And then get butt naked on a cross to die for both you and me. The only stripper I'm in love with is Jesus.
You be the judge of that. Well, hey guys, my name is Joseph Curtis, and if you love movies just as much as me, you have come to the right place. Now do me a huge solid and click that like and subscribe button. Also, if you want to follow me on the following social platforms, that would be great as well. Now, let's start talking The Book of Clarence. This story follows a man named Clarence who is the twin brother of Thomas, who is one of the 12 apostles. He finds himself in debt and must find a way to make money, or he will die. So what does he do? He becomes the next Messiah, of course.
Boy, have you lost your mind, because I'll help you find it.
Now here's the real question. Is this movie blasphemous? You will have to find out for yourself. For me, I personally believe in Jesus Christ, and for my journey and my viewpoint on this film, I don't think it was necessarily blasphemous. This movie is showing the other side of the world of Jerusalem, because when you read the stories in the Bible, you see Jesus, you see the disciples. You don't really get to see the other people, the people who are selling shoes, the people who are selling maybe not necessarily good things for your body. That's what we get to see in this story. And I found that kind of compelling and very interesting because in the Bible, we just see that perspective. And I feel like sometimes when we read a story, we forget that people actually lived their lives outside of the main characters. I think, personally, the whole point of the story is to show the power of belief, the power of truth and knowledge in that belief, and taking a look at yourself and seeing the bad, but also seeing the good. So there are a lot of heavy themes thrown out in this story. And one thing that Jeymes Samuel does really well is music. That's how he really started his career. He's a big producer, very well connected with Jay-Z, who actually is a producer of this film as well. Jeymes Samuel does an incredible job with the music. He does a lot of very epic, sweeping kind of Ben-Hur moments. And you definitely get that feel that he wanted to make his own biblical epic. Mixed in with some comedy, I'll get into that later. This is a beautiful looking film. They actually filmed in Italy, the same location where they shot Passion of the Christ. This was a very authentic feel and location. I was very surprised. I thought some moments were CGI and I was like, no, that's actually real practical effects, as in this is a real location. The buildings feel real. The clay feels real. The pots feel real. I'm glad they decided to execute on the reality of immersing us into this world. I really appreciated that. Of course, you have amazing acting from everyone in this. James McAvoy does a brief appearance in this as Pontius Pilate, and he does a splendid job. But obviously, the real standout in this is LaKeith Stanfield. He knows how to balance comedy and drama in almost every role that he's in. Now, comedy, yet again, I'll get into that later. He does a good job with what he's given with the comedy. With the dramatic scenes, oh my God, I loved it. Every time that we get into a moment, especially in the second half of the film and the third act really, where he is coming to terms with what he is doing and he's lying to people, he's not the real Messiah. It's in those moments where he's trying to humanize what he's doing, but also realizing this is wrong at the same time. Those are really the powerful moments in the film. The action, for a very brief moment, there's not a whole lot of action, but there is one fight sequence in particular in the first act that I found to be quite intense. At the end of the day, director Jeymes Samuel wanted to make his own type of biblical epic like a Ben-Hur, but with comedy. That's very stylistic and quippy, but sometimes it really doesn't work. It wasn't a funny movie. I genuinely thought that it was going to get better with the script and the writing, which actually is written by Jeymes Samuel, but for some reason, almost every attempt in comedy, especially in the first half of the film, falls flat. I didn't even really chuckle. It's because the jokes were just so predictable and so cheesy and so just not earned, and it's totally all over the place in certain moments, not the whole film, but when those moments do happen, and it's mainly in the first hour, it's like a stoner film, I just really wasn't digging it. When you have a story like this that's trying to handle sequences where somebody is getting stoned for quote unquote being a whore, and it's a very intense moment, and people are throwing rocks, and then Jesus does a miracle, and then the next scene you have people smoking weed and they're floating in the air. This is where the style just doesn't really fit with the story, and I really wanted it to because I already knew what I was getting myself into. It's not like I was very shocked, but when those moments stop and you get back to the serious moments, you get back to the emotional moments, the character moments, it really does work. Overall, the Book of Clarence has big ideas with big themes and big emotions, but the comedy doesn't land, and that does pull the score down a bit, especially for a film that was marketed as half a comedy and half a drama. When the dramatic tension lifts and when those moments truly do shine, they shine bright. So I'm going to give the Book of Clarence a solid 6.5 out of 10. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this review. It really means a lot. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also don't forget to be blessed.